Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. Do you guys remember aunt-viv, the first aunt-viv on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Well, the star, Janet-Hubert, she has a role with General Hospital now. Now, months after she aired out how Will Smith allegedly stopped her from obtaining work, Janet-Hubert is returning to the TV screen. The actress who starred as the original Aunt Vivian Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air she's been booked a role on daytime soap opera General Hospital. Entertainment Weekly reports Sunday. They reported it Sunday, November 17th, I think that was. Hubert is set to play Yvonne, a nursing home resident who is going to be romantically involved with Mike Corbin. Yvonne will also have some sort of connection with the residents of Port Charles on the long-running ABC series. Her first episode for the recurring character will air Friday, December 7th. This is the first major news of TV acting gig for Hubert since she blasted Smith for apparently blocking her from getting work, following a pay dispute that caused her to leave Fresh Prince after season 3 in 1993. Hubert was replaced by Daphne Reid for the remainder of the show's run. My life, when you banished me, and when you taunted me, and when you put your poison in me, you poisoned my entire world, Hubert said in an August video, the last of which she said she'd ever make discussing Smith. You poisoned my art. You poisoned people against me. The vomit that you spewed, I still reek of it every time I walk into a room, every time I try to have a meeting, every time I try to talk about an event, every time I try to call Oprah for help. Oprah's people would say, no, she's friends with Will, and Janet will never be on the show. I'm sorry, we can't promote her. We can't promote her on the show because she has a very deep, profound friendship with Will. But Hubert, a former Broadway star, hasn't completed falling off from TV. After leaving the NBC sitcom, she had appearances on other shows like The Jamie Foxx Show, NYPD Blue, All My Children, The Bernie Mac Show, One Life to Live, House of Pain, and more recently, she portrayed Diane on Owns If Loving You Is Wrong. Doesn't appear like Will blocked her from Oprah because Oprah owns OWN, and she did a couple of things for OWN, according to this article. So I'm not sure how she means. Now, I know that Jada addresses and says she don't have anything against Janet, and I have not heard anything that Will has said period on the subject ever since, I just don't remember. Now, I can look back at that time that was taped in the last, I think she did 1993 on The Fresh Prince. You have to admit, Will was cocky. He had just become his own. He was a rapper. He had made money. He lost some money, lost it, and then he made more money. And from then, he's gone on with his life. He's made much more. I'm not sure. I thought I heard he was worth like 300 million, but I'm not sure on that. But I thought I read somewhere that his net worth was 300 million. So he's gone on to raise a family. He's got married, raised a family, and he's gone on with his life. And she has been dwelling on that for years. Now, I can understand where she's coming from at a point I can understand that. Because if you feel like somebody is blocking your money and they're referring to Will every time you go for a part, and it's things that you're thinking he's saying, and the poison you think that he's putting out there, I can see how you would fault him. Like I say, he was a little punk years ago. He probably had because he was the star of the show was wrapped around him. He probably had those executive producers and the people that could negotiate with her. He probably had them wrapped around his finger, because he was the star of the show. And getting rid of Aunt-Viv, or replacing Aunt-Viv, would be less of a problem than replacing the Fresh Prince. But now, Janet, you have to stop the negativity. Because it's only hurting you. You have not progressed. I mean, those roles that you had, I know you're thankful for that, and I know you were capable of doing much more, but it did not hurt Will. It hurt you. So if I could talk to Janet and look her in the eye, I would tell her that is the problem with holding things against someone. You have to get it out. I agree with that. But to keep harping on it, and they've gone on with their lives, and you're the one that's stagnant. You're the one that has not progressed like you should have. You were the one that played on Broadway and had a lot of things under your belt before Will was a star. But yet he has, in the way the popularity, the way people look at that, as far as people that's being an A-lister or B-lister, he has surpassed you as far as his career, because you're holding on to that. Now you have a fresh start. And in my opinion, you should you've aired what you want to air. You say that was going to be the last video, the last time you were going to mention Smith, and I hope you do just that, because he's gone on with his life, and it hurt you. None of what you're talking about hurt Will and his career at all. So that's, to me, is just foolishness if you don't dismiss that now. Go on. You know you can act. You know you're talented. So just, I'm going to be watching December 7th. I'm going to be cheering for Janet-Hubert, and I hope she does well. I wish her well. I really do. So that's what I have today, and leave a comment on how you feel about that, because she's been going around and around with this for many years. I mean, since the early 90s, and this is 2018. So that's just been, she's been dwelling on it too long, as far as just picking herself up and say, okay, this happened, and now I'm going to go on. I said what I want to say, and that's it. I'm done with it. Now I'm going to excel and live my life. So guys, leave your comment, whether you agree or disagree, on how she handled the whole scenario, the whole lifetime of just, hating almost. I'm saying hate, but I don't know if it's that strong. But, she calls what he says poison and venom, and, speaks of him, in a bad light. So just tell me what you think of all this. And of course, if you have not subscribed, please do so now and click that notification, and have a great holiday week, and be safe, guys, and I'll talk to you next time. Good night.